7 people died in 2 accidents in the central and eastern region over the weekend. On Saturday evening at Dominasi near the Commandant Junction in the central region, a vehicle veered off the road after a tire burst and landed in a ditch with some passengers trapped. The Director of Education and Research of the Motor Transport and Traffic Department, Alexander Obeng, is urging motorists not to apply the brakes or accelerate in case of a tire burst. We'll hear from him shortly, but first, Maxwell Agbagba's report on the accident as part of our Arrive Alive campaign to end the carnage on Ghana's roads.
Rough men traveling on the Cape Coast and Takoradi Highway saw the accident happen. He carried some of the victims in the bucket of his pickup to the hospital.
The accident occurred around Saturday, 5:30 p.m. It's a Benz Sprinter that was traveling from Elimina towards Takoradi. We were also on the same route towards Takoradi. When we got there, we realized that the bus had capsized, was on the left side of the road, and there were other vehicles parked on the right. I think they were trying to help the victims, but they couldn't get closer because the place was swamped with bees. The bees were attacking, they trying to rescue them, and also the injured victims. We stopped and we managed to get 3 into the buckets of our pickup and 3 at the back seat. So I took 6 to the nearby health post, which is at Peposo, Dunkwao. The driver and his mates were at the health post, so I asked them what was the cause. And he said that the back tire got burst, so he lost control, and apparently there was someone who was sitting on the side, on the passenger seat. I think the passenger panicked, and he sort of went to hold the steering wheel, which made them go off the road.
The Central Region Public Relations Officer of the Ghana National Fire Service, Abdul Wasiu Hudu, says some persons who tried to rescue those trapped in the mangled vehicle were attacked by bees.
When we got to the scene, most of the victims or the injured were already taken to the hospital by the passerby. So we rather were able to remove the 2 who were dead in the vehicle out of there. The 2 persons died at the spot, and they were handed over to the police service. Our men were attacked by the bees when they were trying to rescue. You know, the vehicle veered off the road and went into the bush. So when they went in to remove the bodies from the vehicle, then the bees attacked them there. They used the water. Bee invasion is one of the incidents we also attend. People call us to attend bee invasion. So we already have the skills on how to manage bees when it happens like that. So they were able to contain them, then did the necessary work they were supposed to do at the scene.
3 persons died in the accident, with others still receiving treatment for various degrees of injuries. In a separate accident at Akuse Junction in the eastern region, 4 people died. A motor rider who suffered brain injuries died later at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Eastern Region Police PRO DSP Ibrisa Tete explains what happened in that accident.
The Land Cruiser, which was on its right course, which had the right of way, bumped into the taxi, killing 3 persons on the taxi, and 1 person sustained serious injury and is receiving treatments at the Akuse Government Hospital. A Good Samaritan who was also traveling from Accra direction heading towards Akuse, on chancing on the accidents, decided to offer a hand of help. He picked the injured persons on the taxi cab and was transporting them to the Akuse Government Hospital for medical care. Once again, an Okada rider who was carrying 4 school kids on board, similar to the earlier accident, also failed to observe basic traffic regulation and also suddenly entered the lane of the Good Samaritan, who was driving a Toyota Prado vehicle carrying one of the injured persons in the earlier accident. So the Prado also rammed into the Okada, killing one of the passengers who was a school kid on board. The rider of the Okada also sustained serious injury. and was referred to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital for further treatment. But unfortunately, he has also passed on. So as we speak, we have recorded 2 separate accidents that has claimed the lives of 4 people.
Consider it a necessity to arrive alive wherever you're going. Well, what do you do when you experience a tire burst whilst you're driving? The Director of Education and Research of the Motor Transport and Traffic Department, Alexander Obeng, is urging motorists not to apply the brakes or accelerate in case of a tire burst. He's also advising motorists to regularly check their tire pressure of their vehicles. His comments come on the back of the Dominasi accident over the weekend that claimed 3 lives. 7 in all. The vehicle reportedly veered off, as we told you already. We can hear DSP Obeng now.
Take your leg off the accelerator pedal, and you should continuously have full grip of the steering wheel and have full visibility of traffic. And when I say have full grip of the steering wheel, it means that one of the hand is not disengaged, and prior to the where the vehicle, the tire got burst, you were not in excessive speeding situation. In all this, keep to your lane, don't slam the brakes, have full grip of the steering wheel, and then take your leg off the accelerator and try as much as possible at the same time that you have full grip and controlling the vehicle. You begin to maneuver with your gear. Try as much as possible. That's where your concentration will be. Once you have full grip, and you try as much as possible to change from the higher gear to the bottom gear. Let's also understand that all these can be done simultaneously, but never try to slam the brake. Allow the engine to run to a halt. Allow the engine to run to a halt without trying to brake. Let the engine control it, and then have a full grip of the steering wheel.
So when that happens, you shouldn't apply the accelerator, you shouldn't apply the brake. Just take off your leg from anything.
And don't brake. Don't accelerate and don't brake.
Those who apply the handbrake immediately in an attempt to stop the vehicle?
The vehicle has got 2 brake mechanisms. We have in certain zones they call it ABS, electronic one, and we have the manual one, which the law requires that all vehicles you have. You don't attempt to use the mechanical handbrake when you are on speed and your tire is also burst. You do that, you roll over and die quickly. So that is not necessary at all. I'm saying that when there is a tire burst, you try to have the full grip of the steering wheel, and then you attempt also change the gear to a bottom gear and to give it the engine power to begin to slow down by itself, and then you have full visibility of traffic and keep to your lane. It is very good, and you try as much as possible to steer it to a safe ground. It's also very important, so that if you are to keep to the verge and the verge has also recoverable zone abutting it, then you maneuver there. But you don't try that you slam the brake. You slam the brake, you lose control, and the car will determine the direction for you.
Look out for when we're going out to buy a car tire? What are the safety mechanisms or measures we can put in place for our car tires?
I think a tie should be a safe tie, and the safer tie per our safety requirement is a tie that is not manufactured for more than 4 years by the tire manufacturer, and to know that the tire is not old, the date of manufacture, the date on which the tire was manufactured is embossed on the tire. And I'll give an example on if you want to know how old the tire is. You only get the date of manufacturing, and the date of manufacturing is numbered in weeks and year. Every year has 52 weeks. So if a tire is manufactured in, let's say, today, and today, you know, it's on the, I think, 9th? Yeah. 9th of, what do you call, February. And it happens to be the 6th week of 2020. So a tire manufactured everywhere in the world by any tire manufacturing plant will emboss it 0620 on the tire, embossed on the tire, so that if I'm going out there to buy a tire today, I will look for a tire which is recently manufactured, not more than 4 years.
So those are some tips for you there if you're driving. There are so many things that he said that I didn't know. So if you are driving and you have a tire burst, the first thing you want to do is to have a grip of the steering wheel and not to step on the brakes. I have in the studio Reverend Cyril Benedict Crab. He's with the National Road Safety Authority. He also runs an NGO that supports victims of accidents. I'll talk to him to find out what the National Road Safety is doing at the moment on the back of all the conversations that we've had about keeping our roads safe. But let's hear from Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, who has been adding his voice to calls for rigorous training of drivers before they're issued licenses.
Then we come to the year of roads, as we have declared. And so we have to make the roads better. So that's structural, attitudinal, true, but there's a way of building the roads which makes it a lot safer, more light, etc. And then also the issue of the type of vehicles that we rent. I think 90% of the vehicles we buy are second-hand, and that has its own problems that we need to look out for. But year 49 is just too many to start the year. And we are deploying more resources to the police, so hopefully that would be helpful. But then it comes on to whether we are also ensuring that people who have driver's license truly go through the training that is required for that. So some vigilance from DVLA is going to be required. I mean, life is just too precious. Every Ghanaian must be given the full opportunity to live and to live well. I support the Joy Arrival Life campaign.
Certainly, it's a campaign that everybody should support. So let's get to the National Road Safety Commission. Reverend Crab, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So this is a conversation we've had over and over again. So no need to even start from the top. I just want to find out at this point, what is it? Since the last time we spoke, when 34 people died, what is it that the Road Safety, the National Road Safety Authority is doing? Give us an update of the activities so far.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me here. The National Road Safety Authority has stepped up in measures to curb the increasingly the accident that is happening on our roads. One of the things that we are doing, that we will put signage, signboards, signposts. We have to put all these things there so the drivers will see it. We are also increasing, beefing up the visibility around these areas, that accident-prone areas that this accident happens. At the moment, we are also the breathalyzer that is there to check those who have been drinking and driving. We have also stepped it up to make sure that the police will help. And I think police visibility has also been increased on our roads, because we realize that the dominancy one, the time that it happens, I don't know what really happened, but one-night tires are one of the things that are the cause of accidents. I don't know the types that comes in into the country. We don't check them. We don't check them at all. They are not tires that are brand new tires. They are tires that have been worn out, has been used tires. And then because it's cheap, we buy them. And drivers don't check these things before they step on the road. And like Supo said, you don't have to apply the brakes when your tire get burst on a road, because maybe you are on a tough speed. And I think that it all boils down to defensive driving or driver education. If the driver has been taught how to drive defensively, definitely he would know what to do. He will not apply brakes, he will not pull the handbrake to make the car to somersault.
So in relation to that, I want to find out, and I'm sure that people who are watching want to also know, what exactly the DVLA, what exactly the National Road Safety Commission is doing, because you heard the Finance Minister. He talks about rigorous training for DVLA. When the National Road Safety Authority was a commission, they kept saying they needed to be an authority so they can do more. Now the authority has been given. To what extent is the National Road Safety Authority engaging DVLA to be sure that all of these things are sorted from that level where they issue the licenses?
Like I said earlier, the authority is partnering with DVLA to train all commercial drivers. All commercial drivers. We go into the stations. We started already, and we are giving them training. So when these things happen, they will know what to do. And the authority, as it stands right now, is making sure that every driver will be given training on the speed limit. I said before that we are enforcing the 80-kilometer speed. The driver knows that he shouldn't drive more than that. The drivers, they know they shouldn't overspeed more than 80 kilometers per hour. Yet they do it. They know that they shouldn't get tires that are worn out, tires that have been used. They know that they shouldn't apply the brakes in the rain. Yet they have become adamant. And so we are enforcing it with the police that when we find out, Road Safety Authority, when we find out that your tires are worn out and we are not adhering to the measures that we are bringing on the road, we are not listening to it, we are going to make sure that we impound your car or collect your license from you.
Finally, you've spoken a lot about enforcement, and which is one of the biggest problems we seem to have in this country. But when you say the National Road Safety is enforcing these regulations, how exactly? Give us a mental picture, because we are not there with you. Give us a mental picture of how really the authority and the police are enforcing all of these regulations.
Well, I want to believe that the authority, as it stands right now, is also very worried about the increasing nature of the road accident. And so I don't think we are sitting down aloof doing nothing. What we're trying to do at the moment is that whatever that we would do to curb the lives that are being lost or the increasing nature of the accident, we are doing it. And the education is part. Like I said, now we are enforcing the law as it stands right now. If your license has expired, we will check it. And if it has expired, we will collect it. Either make you go to do another one, or we'll make sure if your tires are not. In fact, we'll impound every car that we think that is a threat and risk on our roads that will cause lives.
So if I get you, you're putting police officers, the police officers are usually already on the road. Are you now, or is the National Road Safety Authority now adding reps from the authority to the police who are on the road, or how exactly are they checking those vehicles?
Sure, we are adding up. We are adding up our resource persons. We are always we partner with MTTD, always there, especially when you get to the toll booth. We have our reps there who, if you don't have your seatbelt on, they will prompt you. If you don't have things that you need to have that would ensure safety, your own safety, we have our reps there who give it to you. But when it comes to the place where your license has expired and we think that your car to have overload, or there is anything that will be a risk to the passenger or to you yourself, then we bring in the police in to cause an arrest.
I see. All right. So let me take your very final words.
Our final word is that personally I empathize with victims, and I believe that we want to tell every Ghanaian that our lives is in our hands. We are not on the road with them. Everybody should be highly responsible. The death has become one too many, and it's becoming too much worrisome to us. And we support the Arrive Alive campaign, and we are saying that we should all be each other's keeper, so that Ghana would always be a safer place for us to live in.
Thank you very much for coming. Reverend Cyril Benedict Crab is a rep from the National Road Safety Authority. He also runs an NGO that provides support for accident victims. All you have to do is just make sure you arrive alive wherever you are going. Arriving is better than not arriving at all, even if you have to be late, even if you have to, stay on the road and stay in traffic for a while, endure so you can arrive alive. Some of you have been sending your comments. We'll take those comments, but right now we're still on the roads because motorists on the Tema motorway are calling on government to immediately fix the Ashaiman-Tema overpass, as it could be a death trap. Part of the structure is badly broken off when a haulage truck too big for it got locked up under that facility. Nanayao, PSA Nanayao Safo has a report on that.
The Ashaiman-Tema overpass is used by hundreds, yet poses several risks to lives and is in need of repair. One of the 12 beams beneath the bridge is highly damaged, leaving a hole in the structure, and also has exposed iron rods and pipes which were used in the construction process. The damage occurred as a result of an articulated truck getting stuck in the structure. It was being driven by one Abdullahi Fatau. We are told by the police service that the vehicle had exceeded the height point for passage, which is 5 meters in height. It's been 5 months after that incident. The facility has been covered in black polythene, covering the whole from the public space, yet the dangers are still there. So I'm going to speak with some of the drivers who are known to use this route quite often. Hello, sir, and good afternoon. Okay, so what are your concerns here?
They still haven't fixed it, and it's a really big issue. I mean, I don't know why, with all this broadcast online and all that, it's been in the media, and we've been expecting by this time they should have fixed it, but it's still not fixed, and they are really putting our lives in danger.
It's been a while now that thing is chip off and it's dangerous, because that thing can cause another havoc. I'm not an expert in bridges, but as you can see, the way it is, it needs to be fixed. Ghana, we have that culture of if something goes spotter, it takes a while for them to maybe I don't know whether they want something to happen, another thing to happen before they come to fix it.
But do you feel safe as a driver driving around here just like that?
No. I don't feel safe. I don't know. Maybe there might be some defects on it. Anything can happen.
So I'm a taxi driver.
Now, offer had the piano. Senya DGT. That's all saying.
Me fa had the piano. Senya DGT. Enye. Every say me hwenia. Adi esia ye ya. Eyehu. Every say wonna move ahead ne so kra na. Wouldn't so we am crash so we na see in case of anything there be betime asiama e bia obi nam from ho a the problem the baba other said yan kwansha bia na accident be there e be pie nti enye say aban no be there otime ye bibi fa ho e ba ye de obi a meka bibi antre no so mo de ade aye den akata so se na be ya obi ehun me sere ne say aban ready ekuta nkoto game omra no omeboaye se na be ya ye nam so a ye be see.
There you have it. These are some concerns of drivers in the area here, Tema Ashaiman overpass, complaining on the poor state. As you can see there, the rods there are quite exposed, and in fact they are dangerous. The integrity of the structure here is severely compromised, and they are calling on government and authorities of the state to come aid them as soon as possible before anything happens. JoyNews was at the MTTD offices of the Ashaiman Police Service, and they have declined to comment. But they've told us that investigations are still ongoing with the driver who caused that breach 5 months ago. PSA Nana Yaosafo, JoyNews.